Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well as we dive into video number 2 of 2. If you didn't catch the video from earlier on today, you can go and have a look where I give a message to Maresca. And if you want to hear that message and hear what I have to say, what does he have to do right now in order to solve this situation and to get Chelsea back on track consistently, go and have a look and tell me if you agree or disagree. I'd love to know in the comments over there. Now, Chelsea, Everton, preview time. If you want to catch more previews, go over to Shootout and you can catch the Premier League predictions between me and George, where we go over this game and all the games of the weekend, including our predictions on what we think is going to happen. And right now I'm winning 7-5 over there. What a comeback. I was losing 5-2, by the way. 5 on the bounce. Maresca should honestly pay some attention to me here, yeah? Maybe we'll start getting consistent results. Anyway, really fun over there. Go and have a butchers and let us know your predictions as well. Chelsea Everton. I think it's safe to say the fan base as a whole is panicking, right? We're panicking because we cannot fumble tomorrow. We cannot even draw. Like, we have to win tomorrow. We have to. Because if we don't, we would have lost to Leeds, drawn to Bournemouth, lost to Atalanta, and either lose or draw to Everton. That would just be absolutely catastrophic. Yeah, catastrophic of the highest stratosphere. We have to, without question, pick up 3 points. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, whether people like it or not, but I feel like we make it harder for ourselves. I go into detail in video number 1 earlier today as to why that is and why I think there is a way for Maresca to, reflect and do the right thing that will be able to help. But without question, even with that, Everton are no mugs. Everton are no pushovers. And even when we look at personnel right now, Everton, who are, if I'm not mistaken, 1 point behind us now, they have got a really good run of games going. They beat Nottingham Forest 3-0 in their last game. They beat Bournemouth in Bournemouth 1-0. Funny that. They did lose at home to Everton and got smacked 4-1. But prior to that, they did beat United at Old Trafford with 10 men, if you remember, when they had 2 of their players fighting each other. They beat Fulham 2-0. They drew to Sunderland 1-1. They've been doing well. Overall, they've been doing well. Prior to that, they lost to City and they lost to Tottenham. But since that point, since October, late October, they've got themselves into form and they've got themselves clicking. And there's one player in particular who right now for Everton is looking fantastic. And it's ironic that he was our guy last season, and that's Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Now, by no means am I saying, oh my God, Dewsbury-Hall's playing fantastic over there, we should have kept him. No. There's some players that are catered towards that sort of level and they boss it. But you put them in a better team and they get lost. There are players like that, and I believe Dewsbury-Hall is one. I think Dewsbury-Hall at Everton is perfect. He should not go. He should not leave. He should stay there. And I think he would kill it consistently for Everton. He's doing really well. He's scoring some bangers. Jack Grealish is a threat. Ndiaye is a threat for them as well. He's been having a very good season so far. And we know at the back that they're solid enough. Tarkowski, Michael Keane, who is one of the guys that had that altercation at Old Trafford, funnily enough. Pickford in goal. They are a solid side that are hard to get past. So it's more important than ever for Chelsea to, like I said in video number 1, go into that for more detail, to go back to basics. If we overcomplicate tomorrow, we're losing. Because that's a legitimate threat that Everton have. A legitimate threat. They've got players and a structure, and David Moyes, in Everton's own weird way, has gone back to basics, right? He's managed to get Everton drilled in a certain way, which is very direct. It's very A to B. It's very traditional. It's not really difficult to explain how Everton play, Decent level goalkeeper. They've got a solid backline, 2 monster centre-backs. They've got a decent dynamic in midfield. You've got Dewsbury-Hall who's showing some good technicality. He's got good wingers to link up with. And up front is where Everton actually lack. They got Barry up front at the moment. Beto, whenever he's playing, he's always a 5, 6 out of 10. No more. You might get the odd game where he does something, but, for what lands on his plate, he should be doing more. That's where they probably struggle. Apart from that, they're solid, and right now they're hard to get past. But without much of the ball, Everton are scoring. And that's exactly what we don't like to play against, isn't it? Which is why it's crucial that we don't overcomplicate tomorrow. And we don't just, fall asleep on the ball, fall asleep with certain mistakes, fall asleep without getting the ball from A to B with the speed that we know we can play at and the personnel we do have in order to catch Everton off guard. We need to make sure we utilize that. If we are playing in the same old way that we've seen as of late, which is where we take too long, we're recycling the ball, we allow the opponents to get back into position, then we're just going to make life really, really hard for ourselves. And then we're going to have to rely with trying to, score in the air or something like that, which just doesn't happen at Chelsea Football Club. So we need to really, really just bring it back to basics, keep it simple, utilize the personnel that we have, the advantages that we have. We've got some really good technicality in our team. Anyone that tells you that Chelsea are lacking technically is lying. João Pedro, technical. Esteval, technical. Even Garnacho, technical. But from the defence and the build-up to the midfield, Caicedo, Enzo, who I don't expect to play tomorrow, but even then, Santos. These are players that should be able to play in a fast way, in a bit of a blitzing way. And that's where we need to be generating panic in the opponents, because it's not every team in the Premier League that has a very stable head, should we say. But we always facilitate teams to be able to calm down, read the situation and compose themselves. And if we allow Everton to compose themselves, believe me, we're not getting through. They're a solid team. In defence, they're a solid team. So I feel like we create the mess for ourselves a lot of the time, and we need to stop. And it is stoppable. We can do that. This is why I made video number 1. So go over there and have a look for more detail. But in terms of availability, Caicedo, unfortunately, is still out. Are we still out? Which means that I need to amend my lineup, and I'm gonna keep this in. I'll show you in a bit. We'll go through it together. But Caicedo is facing his last game of suspension. Apart from that, everyone else I think is actually available and ready to go. So, yeah, that midfield change is kind of that's caused a little bit of an issue in my head actually, but we'll get to that. For Everton, similar team that I just read out to you guys. All those personnel are available for Everton. I don't really expect much. They did carry a lot of yellow cards in their last game, so I don't know if David Moyes is going to add any changes just to not facilitate a suspension. Perhaps if anyone gets booked at Stamford Bridge, they might miss the next game. I don't know, but right now the table is looking tight between these two teams. Chelsea currently in 5th, 25 points. Everton in 7th, 24 points. It's a 6-pointer. And right now, the gap between Palace in 4th on 26 points, all the way to 13th, Bournemouth on 20. Yeah, 6 points. No, yeah, 6 points. 6 points between 4th and 13th is wild. Actually, 14th is 19 points. Fulham in 15th, 17 points. That's crazy. It's only 8 points behind us, and we're in 5th. I think now is the time where we're going to start seeing gaps forming, but it's still super, super, super tight. 2 results can send you to the other end of the table, for good or for bad. So we got to really, really be careful, because the games after this, Newcastle and Aston Villa. Let me repeat. Newcastle away, Aston Villa at home. We have to win tomorrow, because I think many people already have St. James's Park as a write-off, because it always is. And Aston Villa are the best performing team in the league right now. Easily. They've won 7 or 8 on the bounce, if I'm not mistaken. No one's done that. They are firing. So we got to be careful. We have to win tomorrow. So, without further ado, shall we jump into the starting 11? Let's go through it together. Here it is. Now, Let me bring this across so and I can look in the correct place just for your viewing experience. Because if I look this way, it looks weird to you, doesn't it? Yeah, it doesn't look right. So let me do this. Right. Sanchez in goal. Cucurella left back. Reece James right back. Fofana, Chalobah centre backs. That is easy, right? Yeah, so I don't want to see no chopping and changing and, centre mids playing at right back and, Tosin coming on and none of that. None of that. Fofana and Chalobah playing 90 minutes tomorrow, end of story. Cucurella left back, Reece James right back, end of story. Back to basics, right? Centre mid is where we got a problem. When creating this, I forgot that Caicedo was actually still suspended. So I need to put the player that I took off because I think he's tired, Enzo Fernandez. There's no choice here. He has to play. Now, I don't want to do this. I actually don't want to do this. But there's one exception. Yeah? There's one exception here because of Caicedo's suspension. If Reece James is playing in midfield, for the love of all that is holy, play Gusto at right back only, please. That's it. And keep Fofana Chalobah at centre-back. We don't need to do anything else. If Reece James has to fill in the midfield, because realistically, let's be honest, Enzo Fernandez in that Atalanta game was finished. And I don't think he's recovered in time. You cannot be that finished and then be ready at 100% for Saturday. You can't. We played on Tuesday, didn't we? So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, we did play on Tuesday. So it's 4 days. That level of fatigue that Enzo was showing, and even people, his critiques are going to say, oh no, but he's just rubbish. No. Let's be honest. Yeah. Let's not be dumb. Let's be real. And let's call for what we actually saw in that game. He couldn't run. He could not run. You can't be crap and not run. Yeah. Running's running. He was slow. He was getting caught. Even there was a chance in the box. He fluffed it. That's fatigue. That's your legs not responding. He couldn't get back into defense in time. Every time you could see he was, panting and he was jogging back and he was very heavy. That's tiredness. Your brain could be screaming, I know what to do. And your body's going, nah, mate, you ain't got the facilities for this big man. That is exactly what went through with Enzo against Atalanta. And hence why he had to come off. And that was the correct decision. Now, Enzo Maresca decided to then just flip and go crazy and not bring on Santos for that game. But for me, he absolutely has to start. Now, Enzo Fernandez is the only midfielder that we can turn to here because Caicedo is suspended. But in this event, if Enzo has to be rested, and I would understand it, because I don't want to see the same performance like we saw against Atalanta, because that was horrible, then he's got to rest. If he's got to rest, he's got to rest. We can't, work him into the ground till he dies. Can't do that. So if Reece James has to be the one to fill into midfield, cool. But please don't play Trev at right back. Please don't stick Fofana at right back. Please don't do it. Gusto is there. He's available. Play him. Done. Now, Santos comes in without question. Without question. In front of them, Cole Palmer. Right? Cole Palmer. Now, I've got a feeling as well, Pedro Neto is another one who is running into the ground. And as important as he is, and if it was up to me, I would be playing him on the left. Because for me, Esteval needs to start this one. He's fresh and he's ready and he's good to go. And if he's got a fullback behind him, we get the best out of Esteval. And he's got Palmer next to him, we get the best out of Esteval. And we've got João Pedro right there. João Pedro, I feel like actually needs these guys around him. He needs Palmer. He needs Esteval. He needs other players to get involved in order to free him. If he's freed, he can then have a little bit more space. He can then show what he can do. If not, he just gets constrained and then he struggles. So for me, this is the personnel that I'm going to go to. Neto cannot play if he's completely shattered as well, just like Enzo Fernandez, then cool. Then I would go Garnacho, which is what I feel like is going to happen. Hence why I've gone with this. I feel like this is what's going to happen. So I've gone Garnacho on the left, Esteval on the right, and João Pedro up front. So let me know what you think. But this is my starting 11. Now, back to the middle. Prediction. Crap. On shootout, I can be a lot more just straight up. Because on shootout, we're talking about all the teams and it's easy. On here, I know a lot of you are Chelsea. I don't want to break your hearts. I'll be honest though. This has 1-1 written all over it, doesn't it? It just does. I want to say Chelsea win 2-1. But only if we fix up and we go back to basics, like I said. If we don't, then I think it's got 1-1 written all over it. I really do. But we have to win. So let me know what you think. What are your predictions? Let me know down below. And I'll be here tomorrow after the game, straight after for the match review. Make sure you're here for that, but make sure you're on Shootout to catch. We've got a good video coming out tomorrow morning to fill you in with Saturday before the games all kick off. So Saturday morning, you're going to have content to go through. Enjoy. It's a very good overall Premier League discussion of how everything looks right now. And the watch along for Chelsea Everton, we're going to be doing on Shootout. So make sure you guys subscribe, link in the description. And I'll catch all of you there and then here for the review. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. See you tomorrow. Take care and peace.